Thanks so much for joining us on another episode of the Money Multiplier podcast and the Banking Bros podcast. I'm Jonah. I'm one of the Banking Bros with the Money Multiplier, and today we have an extra special guest, my friend and colleague, Hannah Kesler. Hannah, how are you?
Hey, Jonah. We just saw
Uh,
each other last week in Aruba.
we sure did. We sure did. I had a great time hanging out with everybody. We saw more than just each other. Your dad was there, Brent Kesler, my mentor, and the money man, right, with the Money Multiplier, and also Chris Noggle, another one of our agents at the Money Multiplier, and lots of other folks. But those folks are the ones that we care about. Those are the ones who are on our team, and we spend the most time and energy and effort with, right? So that was fun.
It was fun. It was fun. We went
Cool.
we went snorkeling and parasailing and ATV riding. It was a good team building week.
We sure did. We absolutely sure did. So, Hannah, why don't you take a second and kind of introduce yourself? Tell the folks who you are, what you do, and a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So my name's Hannah Kesler. This is my father's company, right? So the Money Multiplier is Brent Kesler's company, and Dad really went out and started this journey. He was a chiropractor at first, and then going out when he had his chiropractic business, then he was enlightened on this concept called the infinite banking concept. So now we're so deep into this that we actively practice this in our own life. And now we're out there teaching it full time with all of you, to all of our members all across the country. So what I'm up to now is that my role in the office is that I am Dad's right hand. Anything Pops needs, most of it's technology stuff. I chime in and I help him out with it. And really, my day to day activities are is I'm always doing calls. I'm answering y'all's questions. You go out there, you see me live and in person. You'll see me on webinars. You hear me talk about this concept, and y'all got questions and you want to talk more about them. I'm here to help answer those questions for you. And another part of my duty is that I manage our application team, the underwriting team and the application team. I manage to make sure that all of the cases are going through smoothly. Nothing's getting held up, and everything's still going down the right path. So that's my main duty. I live over here in Daytona Beach, Florida. And when I'm not doing work stuff, when I'm not teaching y'all about the power of the infinite banking concept, I like to go listen to live music. So I'll go travel, go listen to live music, and hang out with my kitty cat. so,
That's
so
very cool. I know that one of the last times that I saw you was actually in your conversion van. You've got a really cool conversion van that you actually use. I know your infinite banking policies to kind of outfit and things like that. And I know you like to travel all around, so that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And you
That's
too,
awesome.
Jonah, because actually we were just talking the other day. My big thing that I've had my eyes on here for a little bit is a Jeep Wrangler. So you and I were kind of talking about your Jeep that you had. And so
I,
actually, Jonah, tell the audience too. I mean, what do you do for the office and helping folks?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you have not heard my name before, I'm Jonah Dew. I currently live in Greenville, South Carolina. So if you're coming through, say so. We might be able to sit down or have lunch or something, coffee. I live here with my wife. I have two small children, and I have been knowledgeable and practicing the infinite banking concept since about 2015. 2015. Since 2017, I have been working full time with the Money Multiplier agency organization with Hannah, Brent, some of those other names we mentioned. And I've been leading up the tool creation team, or our mapping team, as we like to call it. So the way that you might run into me is after you're getting started with a policy, generally you're going to be pushed to our mapping team, our tool creation team, either myself or a few other gentlemen, and we're going to help you implement the infinite banking process to your needs to meet whatever you're trying to accomplish. It's actually funny, Hannah. I just got off the line before we're recording this with a gentleman that just recently got started, and he said to me, first thing he says to me, he says, "I'm starstruck. I've watched so many of your videos on the internet, on YouTube, so like I stumbled onto your TikTok," he says, "and then I really wanted more information, so I found your YouTube, and like you're really talking to me." And I said, "Well, of course, that's what I said online, right?" I said, if you get started, we'll talk to you. We'll help you. And so, anyway, that is what I do. That's who I am. And so, if I haven't spoken with you yet, I'm looking forward to it. If our team hasn't worked with you yet, I'm looking forward to it. Again, you run into me after you get started with a policy. So, that's a little bit about me. And absolutely, we were talking about that Jeep Wrangler. I don't have it anymore. I sold it.
Mhm.
I absolutely bought it with a policy loan for my infinite banking policy. I drove it basically all summer 2020. Me and my son went around on Jeep rides and stuff like that. And then I let it go. I let it go. I sold it. But yeah, so that's fun. That's fun. Okay. So I got a few questions, Hannah, that maybe I just want to run by you. So just remind the folks one more time. So like if they wanted to get started with an infinite banking policy, like how would someone run into you during this process?
Yep.
Tell them how they need to know who you are, why they need to know who you are.
Absolutely. So what we do is we're kind of on the front line, right? So we're out there, we're teaching and we're educating the public on this concept. And so what you may see me live, maybe at like a real estate conference or a RAL event, or maybe a like a doctors or physician, just really any group, because really anybody can benefit from the power of being your own banker. So we'll get invited to go out there and speak for folks and for their different groups. So you'll see me live, or maybe you've seen me on virtual presentations and events that folks are doing virtually. And you'll see me out there teaching. And then once you see this powerful information, you're going to have questions. I know you are, because, right, this is not the conventional wisdom of how we've been taught to handle our money and to build our wealth. So you got questions and you're a little hesitant. You're a little skeptical. You're like, how does this actually work? This seems too good to be true. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to help answer those specific questions, whether it just be generalized to the policy itself or specifically how this will work in your scenario and how you're going to be utilizing your banking system. So that's how I come in. That's how somebody will run into me, even still to this day. I'll talk with somebody way back when in 2017, and then I see a text message that just pops up this week and say, all right, Hannah, I met you about 5 years ago, but I think I'm ready to start and get going now. It just takes time. Some people got to go back, do their research, or something financially catastrophe has to happen to them for them to start to realize, all right, I should start locking down and honing in on my finances, because there's some things that I may not know about. So that's really where we start to get involved. And you'll see me on YouTube on our weekly webinars, our presentations. I'm out there teaching and speaking with y'all. And I am also the person, like, if let's say, because what we're doing is when you go through and you obtain your banking policy, what it is a whole life policy, right? That's what it is. That's the platform that we're using. And what's so different about these policies is the design of it, the high cash value banking aspect of these policies. So what I do all day long as well is building these policies. I'm designing the illustrations and really building them to make sure that they suit your needs and your goals, so that when you have it and then you go meet with Jonah, now you're all set up. You have this banking policy that's going to work efficiently for you, and now you just got to know how to start using that thing.
That's right. I love to hear that. So you've mentioned a lot of things that you're going out and speaking and you're getting invited to. And that's crazy that you mentioned that, because of course we love to get out in front of people and speak all the time. So I know that recently Brent and I were actually in Las Vegas, Nevada, doing a speaking event there, teaching about the banking concept. I know that Denver, Colorado is coming up here shortly and soon. I know we have a couple of agents going to Denver, Colorado. That would be awesome. I know that in Greenville, South Carolina, we've got an event that's about 2 or 3 weeks away that we'll be speaking at, and there's many more. We've got a calendar as well on the Money Multiplier website, themoneymultiplier.com, where you can follow along with a lot of those events and follow along with where we'll be, just in case you want to see us in person. But at the same time, we've got so many avenues that are social and on the internet, Instagrams and Facebooks and live webinars and TikToks and whatever it might be. We got so many ways that you can run into the information, and that's really awesome. So I thought, Hannah, let's jump into kind of the topic for the episode here, if that's okay with you.
Okay.
And the topic is, let's be real with the people here, okay? We're going to give them the real life, real information. But the topic is, what are we? So I'll let you go first, and I'll go, or whatever you want to do. I'll go first, you go. But the question is, what are we actively doing right now with our banking policies? How are we spending the money? What are we accomplishing? So I'll let you go first, if that sounds all right.
Absolutely. So yeah,
Okay.
so kind of how Jonah was saying. So at the in the middle of last year, so actually right about a year from today, May of 2021 is when I went and bought that conversion van. And so what I had to do is I used the dollars from my policy and I went down to the Dodge dealership and I bought the box van, that Ram ProMaster. So now I have the van. I used my policy to self finance that. Now I got to go do the conversion itself. So then that needed some capital and some financing. I did have the majority of my money inside of my policies to finance some of that. However, I did have to go to my father, dad, and ask for a little bit of a loan to complete the conversion. So most of it, I would say about 85% of it is financed through my banking policies. But the
And
other,
now let's ask two. Where did he get the money from? The money that you borrowed from him, where did he get it from?
absolutely, his policies. So dad
Okay,
went
so it
right in.
all came from policy loans, whether it was yours or family members. So the family banking system is where you guys got the money from for the van.
That's right. Because
Okay.
I could have totally went down to the local bank, went out and got a loan for that conversion. But I say, well, why do that? Keep the money in the family. Because the thing too that dad has always taught us is that, hey, if you come to me and you improve my lifestyle, because remember, dad's not just going to give me money and charge me no interest just to use his money. Dad's definitely going to charge me interest to use his money. So he's charging me that interest, and now I'm paying him back that loan plus that interest, just as if I were to go down to a local bank, take out a loan from them. But the reason of why I want to do it this way is because now we're keeping the money in the family. And on top of that, because I have two other siblings, I got an older brother and a younger brother. The what the agreement is that whoever pays dad back the most interest during his lifetime, they're the one who's going to get the most amount of death benefit when he's not here anymore.
That's a
It's
good
true.
incentive right there.
It's true. So that's what I'm actively using it for. I'm using it for the van purchase that I have, and then I'm paying off that loan. And then right now, actually, I am saving up. I'm saving up for something else, like I said, that Jeep Wrangler I want, and also in the near future, I do want a rental property. I've really had my eyes in Golden, Colorado. I really want a property out there in Golden, Colorado. So that's my 5-year goal right now.
Very cool. That's awesome. I love how you said family banking system, right? So it's even though, again, because you didn't have all of the cash value available in your policy to do the van and the conversion, you said, well, I could obviously go down to the local bank, but why do that? Why not get the loan from dad's policy cash values, right? So you're able to do that. So everything's self-financed. Again, whether it was your policy or a family member's policy, but you kept the money in the family. As you repay your dad's policy, he gets richer, right? He gets more money, but at the same time, you're replenishing any cash values, any death benefit that was taken, which eventually will be paid out to you, right? The beneficiaries of the policy. And
Yes.
the same thing, of course, happens for your policy as you go to repay it. So I love that. That's awesome. So we got, just to make sure I got it, we got conversion van, basically took all the money last year, right? And then
Yep.
as we're repaying it, we got a 5-year plan for a rental property in Golden, Colorado. And a little short term, we're going for a Jeep Wrangler as when the cash value builds back up. Is that right?
That's right. That's
All
right.
right. I love it. Very
What
cool.
about you? What about you,
Okay.
man? What you doing?
Man, I've got so you had a conversion van that took about all of your money. I got a bunch of things I feel like in the works. So currently right now, I used a good chunk of a policy loans for a private lending deal that I recently did. So I've actually got a YouTube video coming out on that really soon. I just kind of stood in front of the camera and kind of walked through it, but that took a significant chunk of money. And at the moment, I'm actually still working on debt payoff. Here's why: I bought a house right at the end of, or right before COVID, 2019. And I'm a big fan of using the equity in the house, but I don't like that bill. I don't like that bill. So I've got my house on a debt payoff plan, a MAP, as we build them for all sorts of folks. I'm actually attempting to pay that off. So it'll be done in just a few years, but I use a significant amount of cash value to pay toward my house every single year. So that's kind of where a lot of the money has been up to this point. As we move forward, so actually in 2021, you're talking about rental properties. So in 2021, I actually got my very first rental property. It's not in as cool of a place as Golden, Colorado. I wish it was. I feel like though, if you get it in a really cool place, you're gonna want to use it and not rent it, right? And
I
if you
hear
use
you.
it, you're not making any money. So I've got some thoughts about that. But anyway, I got a rental property that is ongoing as well. It's actually just down the street from my house. Got some renters in there currently, and kind of short term goal. I think I want to do something pretty nice for my spouse. She drives a significant vehicle at the moment, but we've got two little kids, and so I want to get her something maybe a little nicer, maybe a little over the top. So I think we're going to go for one of those vehicles that's about over 6,000 pounds because they can a little bit of a tax break there.
Yep.
And so it's going to take a pretty good chunk of change for that. So I've actually got a vehicle purchase coming in and in the wings as well, same as you. And it'll take a good chunk of change. So right now, I think I'm going to focus on private lending deals. I really kind of like them, as opposed to like a rental property where you might have to go out there and paint the wall or something, or cut the grass, or do something like that. But I think I like to do some private lending.
Yep. I always say toilets, termites, tenants, the three terrible T's.
I believe it. So I think as of as of yesterday, so this is recorded in June of 2022. As of yesterday, I think I got a text that said the dishwasher's broken, and now they need something to happen in there. And I'm like, oh boy, I like these private lending deals a little better. Nobody texts me talking about the dishwasher.
How about I'm researching note investing. So I have a
Okay.
little bit of private lending that I'm doing right now, kind of some joint deals with my father, but I really wanted to start getting into note investing. So I have some mentors like Kevin Shortell, Paige Panzarillo that are kind of helping me understand this more and more. But that's another thing that I would get into as well. If you don't like the rental property, short term or long term, note investing.
Yeah, okay. I don't know very much about note investing. If you do and you're listening, reach out. We would totally love to hear from you. If you've got a network or whatever it might be, please reach out. We'd love to do that. We get information, advice, recommendations all the time from a lot of our members at the Money Multiplier who recommend things that they've been doing. And so a lot of times we will take you up on that. I know a lot of the private lending that we do is actually unique because we do it really in the group of our members, right?
Mhm.
We've got some members who are interested in doing flips and real estate transactions. They need lots of capital, and we've got another group of members who have capital because of their banking policies. And so we actually like to keep it tight knit and kind of do those transactions within our group. So note investing. I like that. That sounds good.
I'm excited about it. So I'll bring I'll bring it to the table. So next time I see you in person, I'll tell you what I've learned and hopefully I'm into it at that point when I see you next.
I love that. That sounds good. Okay, I've got a question for you.
Mhm.
So you had mentioned, or we mentioned at the beginning of this episode, that we recently saw each other. We were hanging out in beautiful Aruba, right? So here's my question. We teach people all the time how to get all the money back on things, on cars, on boats, on houses, on vacations. So we flew to that beautiful resort. It was awesome. But here's my question. If you knew that you're going to get all the money back on your flight, on your resort, say anything you spent, especially on the flight in this instance, my question, Brent's always asked this one. I'm going to ask it for you. Are you sitting in the front of the plane? Or are you sitting in the back of the plane?
I'm sitting in the front of the plane because now I
I
have
like
the
that answer.
option, right? It's all just about having the option. Hey, do I want to sit in first class or do I want to go sit back and coach? I don't. It doesn't matter. I got the option to say what I want to do.
There it is. I like that. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode. It is easy to listen to a podcast. It's easy to find someone who's got the knowledge, but it's not very easy to find a great team that's going to encourage you, train you, develop you to your highest potential. So, if you are interested in getting started with your first or 10th infinite banking policy, please reach out. You can team up with us. We help individuals, families, business owners. We help so many folks crack the code to cash flow, map out the millionaire mystery. We'd love to help you. Give us a buzz. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Jonah.